If you've been following the series from the beginning, you now understand that the market is an auction. You understand that volume profiles show you where the market spent time, where it accepted price, and where it rejected it. You can look at a chart now and see the structure underneath the candles, not just the candles themselves. But here's where it gets really interesting, because knowing where the volume transacted is still only half the picture. The other half, the half that most traders never see, is how it transacted. Who is buying, who is selling, and most importantly, who was in control at the exact moment price was deciding whether to hold a level or break it. That's what order flow is. It's not an indicator, it's not a signal, it's the actual data of every transaction happening in the market in real time. Who is aggressive, who is passive, and what that tells you about where price is likely to trade next. Being a tape reader is identifying the immediate trend in price of who's in control. In this episode, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. We're going to start with the foundation, what a transaction actually is at the most basic level. Then I'm going to pull up a footprint chart and show you how to read the aggressive and passive participants live on screen. Then we're going to look at Bookmap, and I'm going to show you the faucet and the sponge, the single most important concept I teach for understanding why price reverses and where it does. And then I'm going to walk you through a real trade that I took on NQ futures, a top reversal in a balanced market that resulted in a 5-hour winner in under 2 minutes. By the end of this episode, you're going to see the market in a way that you've never seen it before. Let's get into it. Before we look at any charts, I want to make sure you understand something that sounds simple, but most traders have never actually thought about it. Every single price movement in the market is the result of a transaction, and every transaction requires 2 participants, one on each side, a buyer and a seller. That's it. No transaction happens without both. There are never more buyers than sellers or vice versa. Now, here's the part that matters. Those 2 participants are not equal. One of them is aggressive and one of them is passive. And the aggressive participant is the one who wants in right now. They don't want to wait for price to come to them, and they're willing to pay whatever the current market price is to get their position filled. In trading terms, they are hitting the ask to buy or hitting the bid to sell. They are using a market order and they are saying, I need this position filled and I need it filled now. The passive participant is the one waiting. They've placed a limit order at a specific price and they're sitting there offering liquidity to whoever wants to trade against them. They're saying, I'll buy here if someone wants to sell to me, or I'll sell here if someone wants to buy from me. They're not chasing, they're waiting. Now think about what this means for price movement. If aggressive buyers are hitting the ask faster than passive sellers can absorb them, then price goes up. Supply is getting eaten and demand is winning. If aggressive sellers are hitting the bid faster than passive buyers can absorb them, price goes down. Demand is getting eaten and supply is winning. But here's the key. If aggressive participants are pushing hard in one direction and passive participants are absorbing every single one of those orders without price moving, that tells you something. That tells you there is significant participants on the other side who are not moving. They are holding and they have size. That's absorption. And that is the foundation of everything we're about to talk about in the footprint charts. So looking at my footprint chart here, this is showing me the delta by price for each tick in 10-point range bars on NQ futures. For reference, this is not a time-based chart. So each one of these bars only opens a new bar when price moves into a new 10-point or 40 tick range on NQ futures. Now on the bottom here is the cumulative delta. This gives me a visual representation of the cumulative delta, the difference between aggressive buyers and sellers in this full 10-point range for each one of these bars. So going back to what we were talking about, every transaction in the market that occurs between an aggressive participant and a passive participant. So each transaction that occurs between an aggressive buyer and a passive seller, or an aggressive seller and a passive buyer. So taking a look at these footprint bars, we can see a breakdown of that. On the right-hand side of this bar, it gives me a visual of the total volume of all the transactions that occurred at each tick in price's movement. So these numbers on the right-hand side of this bar are showing me the total volume, the total completed transactions at that price point. Now, on the left-hand side of the bar, this is showing me the delta, the difference between aggressive buyers and sellers at this price tick for each tick. So at this top of this bar, we see there was 13 aggressive buyers and 15 total transactions. So there was more aggressive buyers than aggressive sellers at this point, at this tick. And at the high of this bar, you can see there was all aggressive buyers. There was 6 completed transactions and a positive 6 delta. That means there was 6 aggressive buyers and 6 aggressive sellers at this moment in time, and price failed to continue moving any higher from here. So what this tells me, as price was aggressively rallying higher, we got to this point where there was a surge in positive delta, there was a surge in aggressive buying, yet it was completely absorbed by passive sellers in this range. And what we see here is the immediate reaction after this surge of aggressive buying at this key location in the market, which we'll talk about in just a minute, failed to move price higher, is aggressive sellers then stepping in, and we see price quickly and aggressively moving the opposite direction. At this moment in time, this shows us that buyers had exhausted themselves at this high, and this aggressive surge in buying ran out of fuel and they were no longer able to move price higher. Then, as any little bit of aggressive selling steps in, price quickly and easily reverses the other direction. And we can see as price approached this high, the delta from aggressive buyers overall decreased from that uptrend. As the market came to this high, the delta increased, aggressive buying got weaker, and then as it made this high, aggressive selling stepped in and quickly reversed the market the other way. Now, the important thing that I want to show you here is just this relationship between aggressive participants and passive participants. We can infer how much passive participants are here based on the surge in positive delta and the lack of continuation of price moving higher. And in fact, it reversed. This shows us at this level, there was a combination of passive sellers at this high that absorbed all of the positive delta from these aggressive buyers, followed by aggressive sellers stepping in and reversing price's movement. Now, fast forwarding a few minutes, we can see as price is driven quickly lower by aggressive participants, we can see subsequent attempts for buyers to bounce price. And we can see on the delta here on the left-hand side of these bars, how small and weak that is compared to what we saw as price was rallying earlier. So what this tells us is price made a high where all the buyers were absorbed. Now price is aggressively reversing from that high and pops are failing, showing us exhaustion, where we see this pattern of decreasing buying delta as price attempts to pop. And all of that aggressive buying is being absorbed by a passive seller, and then more aggressive sellers continue to step in. This is what it looks like to spot the absorption of exhausted buyers that fail to pop and move the market higher. Now, this was actually the exact context that I used to take a trade and short NQ futures. After this failed pop showed me exhaustion, I took the market short here around these 61s with a tight stop over these 67s. Now, I'll show you the full context for this trade and exactly how I put this together. Now, looking at a volume profile of this trading day, you can see the market had made a bell curve of balanced volume distribution between buyers and sellers. And this is where we were seeing that exhaustion of buyers as they failed to break out of the highs of this range. This volume profile is showing us where 70% of the volume is being distributed inside this balanced range. Now, when we spotted the exhaustion of those buyers at the highs of this range being absorbed by passive sellers, plus aggressive sellers stepping in, that gave us a high probability scenario to take the market short and target a mean reversion drop back into the middle of this range. Now let's take another view at this to look at Bookmap to show the other side of this, to look at the order book and exactly how this trade setup played out on the order flow visualized on Bookmap. Now, taking a look at Bookmap, this is where we can see the sponge and the faucet playing out in real time. We see on the volume profile here a bell curve volume distribution showing us a balanced range the market had been in. And at the attempt to break out above that, we see large aggressive buying attempting to break above this range multiple times, but getting absorbed by the sponge in this range. We can see these dark orange spots on the heat map showing us the passive sellers absorbing all of these aggressive buyers in this range, and then the market reversing back into the middle of the balance range. This is where I was able to take the market short, and this is where I covered the position at my target back in the middle of the balance range. Now let's zoom in on Bookmap and take a little closer look. So zooming in, these green bubbles show me aggressive buying delta from aggressive buyers, and on the heat map, these dark orange spots show me large passive participants. So these areas above price are passive sellers, and these areas below price are passive buyers. So we can see as these aggressive buyers tried to break the market out above this balance range that the market had been in, there was a large sponge of passive sellers absorbing them in this range. And then we can see exhaustion of weaker buyers and aggressive selling stepping in, reversing the market. Now, once I confirmed this, we see a little bit of a pop from aggressive buyers again, quickly dwindle off with weaker delta. So what this shows us here is when the market attempted to continue higher, we see very weak delta from weak buyers there. This is a signal that the buyers have become exhausted, and I take the market short with a very tight stop over that weak exhausted buyers pop and target a drop back into the range below. Now, the main purpose that I want to show you this for is we see the example of a balanced market where there is a large sponge of passive sellers above that balance range. And when large aggressive buyers attempted to break out of that range, they were fully absorbed by passive sellers until there was no aggressive buyers with sufficient size left to drive price any higher. At that time, it flips and aggressive selling steps in and reverses the market. And we can see on subsequent pops, further showing us exhaustion of those buyers as they have weak delta, unable to drive price higher. This is the confirmation that price is likely to reverse back into the balance range as buyers have become exhausted and failed to sustain price outside of this price range. That right there is order flow trading, not a signal, not an indicator telling you what already happened in the past, reading the actual auction as it unfolded, seeing the aggressive buyers exhaust themselves, seeing the passive sellers holding their ground, and seeing the faucet run dry and acting on it with precision. A 5R return in 2 minutes, not because I got lucky, because the order flow told me exactly what was happening at that level before price confirmed it on the candle chart. Now you might be thinking, okay, I understand the concepts, I can see what you're looking at, but how do I put this into a repeatable process? How do I go from understanding order flow concepts to actually having a framework I can apply to every single trade? That's exactly what episode 4 is about. I'm going to walk you through the 4 filters I use on every trade: the context, location, confirmations, and entry signal. And I'll show you everything that we've covered in this series coming together for a complete decision-making process. If this series has been valuable to you so far, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And if you know another trader who's been stuck in the same cycle of indicators and strategy hopping, share this with them. This is the video I wish someone had shown me before that FOMC day in 2020. I'll see you in episode 4.